1 Mando, 2 Mando, 3 Mando, 4. They took back Mandalore.
No, we weren't.
The founders of the future.
Hey,
This is
the
the
first
way.
That's
time
what I
I
should have done. We should have said that.
the first time I did that was on the Mando trailer breakdown, and I did that, and I was like, "We'll take a trip to Mandalore," is how I finished, something like that. And so now it's a full circle. They went there and they took it back, so it's done.
All right, you're done. You're done.
Until I can come with a cool rhyme for another show. 1 Ahsoka, 2 Ahsoka, 3 Ahsoka, 4.
Stop.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mandalorian-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with The Mandalorian Season 3 finale, Episode 8, Chapter 24, The Return. What?
Just kidding. It was pretty good. It was alright.
I was about to get mad at you.
It was alright. Not better than last week's, that's for sure. Not even close.
We jumping the gun on our thoughts on the episode. But before we jump into the season finale breakdown, we got some stuff from Spotify, Q&A, and polls. Oh. And so I did 2 last week because there was just a lot that last week had for us. So the poll that I asked is, will we see Thrawn in the finale? 35 people voted. 24 said yes. 11 said no.
And those 11 are right.
I couldn't believe it. That's the biggest letdown of this episode is we didn't get like a mid or post-credit scene.
Oh, post-credit scene. I was going to say that's the biggest.
Yeah, we didn't get one. So I thought we were going to get a Thrawn in that, but we didn't.
You can get anything. I thought that was disappointing.
So even if it was like even if it wasn't Thrawn, just a mid-credit scene, something like the rumored book of the Bo-Katan spinoff. Like I thought maybe they were going to keep that till the finale or something, but no.
Yeah.
So congratulations to those 11 who said no. You are more of a realist than we are, I guess. We're just up in our fantasies.
Yeah.
But we also had a Q&A from last week, and I asked, Bo and Din, has one or both been shot by Cupid's Beskar arrow? And so last week we had a big debate on whether or not they're in love or if those feelings are afoot, as the kids would say. So we got a lot of answers, actually. So, first one, Inzunza15, hopefully I said that right. No, I don't see the connection that Drew mentioned. If anything, there was more connection with that one girl from the ATST village in season 1. That's true.
Yes, we know
that's true love right there.
That is true.
I would be happy
agreeing with that
if they meet up in the future and they.
Well, apparently Mando's not doing anything anymore, so that could happen. So,
yes, that girl from season 1, I'd be down with that love arc. If I'm gonna say something is a good love arc, then it has to be good. But anyway, Garbage Goober says heck no. Alex Garcia 1858 says bruh no.
Dang, all right.
Addie says both. I'm already thinking of ship names for them. Jonathan says, I think Bo is becoming more and more fond of Din, but I don't really see any signs that he's interested in her. Din is the Jeremiah of the Mandalorians. Let's see. Next one, Nils T-Wart, and I'm going to paraphrase part of this just so it's somewhat more family friendly. It's like on the line, and I just don't want to cross that line. So he says, to paraphrase, I always think Mandalorians are not the romantic type, especially Din. Never get those romantic feelings from him. Bo has other stuff on her mind right now. Winky face. By the way, Mandalorians can never kiss, right? So weird. That is true, I guess. But if they're not the romantic types, then I guess they don't need to kiss. I guess I don't know. But I feel like there has to be like an exception if you're married. Like you can see each other with your helmet off.
Or do they ever get married?
Or yeah, maybe they. That's the question. I don't know if we've ever saw. We have to go back and watch Clone Wars to see if their husband wives references at all. But,
Well, did Bo-Katan have parents?
yeah, parents, but that doesn't mean they were married. Spoiler alert, Drew. You can have a kid and not be married.
I understand, but they had two kids. I'm asking, like, were their parents next to them, or like, did we ever see their parents in the Clone Wars? I don't remember.
We never saw the parents, no.
Okay.
But who knows?
So maybe they were all foundlings.
Sure, maybe because remember they're not a race; they're a creed. But the Kree's family is a
How do you have a family line without anything?
Passing on a name.
Yeah.
Like, people still have last names even if their parents aren't married. I don't know.
No. I understand the marriage part. Like, I'm not necessarily saying Bo-Katan and Din are going to get married necessarily, but they could both adopt Grogu together. That could be a thing. So that's why I'm wondering, like, how does that work?
I don't know. Din, he's
apparently Din is your last name, not your first name.
I don't know. We'll talk about that.
That was kind of
anyway. Next person, John says, "I sure hope not." Crow Crazy says, "I think Bo has, especially after him declaring his loyalty, but I think Din is too dense to know what he's feeling." Firstborn says, "I believe that both have been hit in a Mandalorian way. Also, The Last Jedi is a great movie and my second favorite Star Wars movie. Kathleen Kennedy approves every Star Wars project, Mando included." Okay.
I don't know what that was. That was a diss towards me, but then confirming what I said. I don't know.
I'm just saying that we get good and bad from Kathleen Kennedy, and it's not. That's just what movie studios and production studios do. They do good stuff, bad stuff. It's not any single person's fault necessarily. Nate Keeney, neither. It would be really weird since Bo is like 20 years older than Din. That is true. Well,
we don't know that.
We don't know. We're thinking she's like 50 to 55.
I think I saw a thing. She's technically 62.
Well, I looked into it after reading this comment. I went back and tried to look it up, and 50 to 55 is what a lot of people are saying. And what's her face? Katie Sackhoff says that she thinks of Bo-Katan as in her 50s. So
okay, so if she's 50, 55, how?
But and so then Din, if he was
like
13, no, he was probably like 12 or something. Clone Wars plus so another 30.
Yeah, there's
25. She's still got a solid 15 years on him though. But as they say, you can't stop true love. So if they're in love, I guess age doesn't matter.
That's what I like to hear, Jeremiah.
No, but she's too busy leading Mandalorian. He's too busy
being forced to not help with Mandalorian.
Butler Clancy says, yes. Me probably assuming that's Grogu pushing the button.
Yeah.
And then JD says, in the wise sage words of Grogu, yes. So we got mostly no's on the Beskar Cupid arrow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good to hear.
That's bad to hear.
But we're done with the Q&As for this episode because everyone here.
Someone in the Red Buff asked where to find the poll question and on Spotify.
I'm assuming it's in the app only because I can't see it on PC.
Let me see.
So just bring up our podcast, and it should be a tab on each episode, I think, if I had to guess. I don't know.
Spotify chill.
But anyway,
Well, let's find out.
so
Oh, so it's a drop down.
he says he found it. Perfect.
Yeah, it's like a drop down link. Just so you guys know, if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, it's like a pull down drop.
Cool.
Answer Q&A/poll. You can do both. That's kind of cool. You can do both at the same time.
Yeah. And ever since they updated this website last couple of months, like now you can like even after something is posted, like an episode is posted,
You can change it.
I can change if I have like a typo or something, or I can add a poll or a question.
That's cool.
So before you couldn't do that.
You know what's okay? So this is nothing to do with this episode, but I was at the Apple store today, and they were teaching how to make your own podcast on their platform on Apple. So I think that's really funny.
Why is that funny?
Because because Spotify is like trying to take over the podcast space. Like they were doing a presentation at the Apple store on how to make a podcast and how to distribute it. Like it shows like Apple is going to start pushing their own way to do it next too. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm not saying we should switch, but it's gonna be interesting
But
to
it's
see.
weird because ours gets distributed to
Ours does no. I'm just saying they might put out their own app to do the same thing.
But then that would mean we would no longer. They would remove themselves from.
I don't think so. Because they'll probably figure out how to. Because right now, if you upload, you can upload to. That's a good question. I wonder if they'll might not. That would be dumb.
Well, like 80% of our listeners are Spotify, so.
Or is that what they show us?
I have no reason to doubt the statistics.
I don't either, but
because if they're lying, then we could sue them and make millions of dollars. So for false,
let's look into it.
Something.
But I think a lot of people are.
Will your mod go check in it? Can we sue Spotify if they're being dishonest about the statistics?
I think a lot more people are using Spotify because one of the big heavy hitter podcast people are only on Spotify. Like there's a couple bigger podcasts that are only on Spotify, so I think a lot of people are using Spotify only.
Yeah,
I use Spotify. Yeah, most people do. I don't even use Apple anymore.
Yeah,
actually, I don't use Spotify either. I just watch YouTube.
And based on, so like we have our ads now on Spotify, that my pre-recorded one, and so I asked a poll a while back if people are hearing it. So some people are hearing it at the beginning, and some people are hearing it in the middle. So I was wanting it to play at the beginning because it's red, like before we get into this episode. So sorry if it's randomly put in the middle when you're listening. I don't have any control over that.
Sure.
But
feel free to skip it.
But yes, we're looking for a few cents here and there. So
yeah, don't.
Anyway, Mandalorian finale
to this episode.
So the finale, episode 8 is called The Return. So they returned. They retook Mandalore. But Drew, what were your overall thoughts? Oh, before we get into this, I should say, go watch my reaction video on YouTube. I did a first ever episode reaction.
Yeah.
So not a watch party, an actual reaction. So there's my face and the actual episode clips on there. It's really short. It's like 4 minutes
3
long.
minutes. It's like 3-something, 3:50 or something.
3:52 or something like that. So
yeah,
go if you want to see my face react to some sad and funny scenes in this episode. Go check that out. While you're there, subscribe.
Go give it a thumbs up while you're over there. Get Jeremiah rolling through the things.
But Drew, your overall thoughts of this episode?
Well, my watch party's up already too. So if you guys are listening to this, go like that as well. I did an early one. I'm gonna quote Tanner, or as I call him, Tantan from the Discord, one of our mods. Mando was mid, changed my mind. This episode was mid compared to last week and compared to what they made us think was gonna happen. I decided it was kind of a letdown.
But you just said the correct thing where you said in what we thought it was gonna be.
No, I understand that.
So that means the episode itself is not
I think the
bad.
episode itself is
Your
good.
expectations were bad,
Correct.
and it's
100%.
bad because of what you did to it.
Correct. Yes.
So how many did you only watch it once, or how many times have you watched it?
Once. Just once. I didn't miss anything. That's what you're asking.
Oh, you definitely missed things because
Why? What?
when I watched it the first time, I was disappointed. And then after watching it again and kind of watching through it again as I was editing my reaction video, I actually started to really, really like this episode.
I like it. I'm not saying I don't like it. I just think from what we got last week and the week before, and I kind of understand what everyone was hating on that one for. Like, this season compared to last season or the first season is a lot less crazy, impactful cliffhanger. Like, we have no, like, they could end the show right now and just be done with it. And I don't know if I like that.
Well, okay.
Like-
we'll get into that, but as the episode itself, like, more thoughts on that. Like, what do you? Because you're just saying just because it was.
I think the reason why I think it's kind of mid, like, the fight scenes are really good. I really like the fight scenes. I think they're amazing. Kind of don't understand how that guy was able to get up to the ship, considering people can't chase a dragon halfway across a cavern without running out of fuel. Doesn't really make any sense to me, but to each their own. Maybe he has better fuel than the heavy Mando. And
Well, we discussed how in that episode how they probably were flying for a long time, like hours, chasing after that thing.
well, it wasn't visually it didn't feel like that, but I mean,
Well, because they
maybe you're right.
can't, they're not gonna film it for have
No, but
a whole
there's
3-hour long
ways to
scene of them
make it
chasing.
seem like it's longer than it felt really fast.
Well, because they had to do that, but
And
like
he broke through atmosphere, the storm.
I can't believe you're complaining about that.
I mean, it
was
doesn't
one of the-
really make much sense
Why doesn't it make sense?
because I feel like he would have ran out of fuel. Pushing through atmosphere, it was cool. Don't get me wrong. The scene looked amazing. The camera angle of his helmet, like, it looked so cool. I'm not saying it doesn't look dope. I'm just becoming Jeremiah a little bit and having the physics don't make sense.
What do you mean it doesn't make sense? If you can last for a couple hours on your jetpack,
I don't think that was a couple hours. I'm not convinced on that either.
well, I'm not saying it was a couple hours. I'm saying that because they can go an extended period of time when they're chasing after a dragon.
So now we're supposed to believe
they
that
can.
that chase was longer. Is that what you're trying to say?
We've always thought that because that's what we discussed.
I didn't think that.
Because when you watch that, you see the cut, how the scene cuts, and it's like different.
But last week you didn't even say that.
Say what?
You said, I don't know how he's going to get up there through the atmosphere, through the storm. You said that last week. And I was like,
Well,
yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Well, not because
That's how
of
we
the
thought he was a
jetpack.
spy.
Not because of the jetpack, but because I was like, you can get like, shocked by lightning or
That
hit by
too. There's
something.
multiple factors.
But like, he's just going straight up. Like that's all you gotta do. Like it's not like he's. I'm assuming like if you turn, that uses more energy than if you're just going straight.
That's true.
And so
heavy Mando is pretty heavy, probably.
that too. He's a
that,
husky boy.
and
And
we're
like
probably assuming that his jetpack fuel is also powering his gun. So if you use that, probably slowed him down a little bit too.
And the covert, they're janky.
True, but Mando's
armor,
isn't.
and so the Bo-Katan's crew, they have like fully
That's
top
what I'm
of the
saying.
line.
Maybe. Okay, so
stuff.
scratch that part then. Let's just
Okay, good.
we'll just let that one slide, I guess. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was like that doesn't make sense. No, I think the biggest thing is like I think this episode was mid because of what everyone predicted, and it's our own personal issues for sure.
But taking that away, now that you're aware of that,
No, yeah, I
then you would
liked
say
it. I
that-
just don't
then
think
you'd
it's
say
as
that the
good as-
episode is better than mid. Because
A
if you're
little
not
bit.
comparing it to your
correct.
your
If I'm not comparing
assumptions,
it to my own wants and needs, I still think it's better than mid. Yeah. I still don't think it's that great though. Like compared to like even last week or compared to episode 8 of season 1 or the last episode of season 2.
Oh, this finale was better than
No
season 2
way.
finale.
Then
Oh,
Luke?
you don't remember what my thought? Remember my thoughts were? I thought it was okay.
Oh, well, that's crazy talk.
Go back
Cuz
and
Luke coming, dude, that was amazing. I wish you had a
okay,
reaction
but
to that.
that's the
That would have
thing.
been
But that's the difference between you and I. You can judge an entire episode based on one scene. I actually judge the whole episode based on everything that happens in the episode.
what either way, but I
So
think there was
like,
nothing in this episode that was like, "Oh my goodness, that's amazing." Besides the clone stuff, which we kind of already
what?
predicted.
Dude, I thought this is if last week was 10 out of 10, which it was, this was at least a 9 out of 10 of an episode. Based on me watching it a second time. The first time, if you ask me, I thought I was disappointed because yes, I was
In your
comparing
mind.
it to who are the spies? Oh, we're gonna get Thrawn. Da,
Yeah,
da, da, da.
dude, just change the title to Spy. Yeah,
And so,
there's no S.
but if you rewatch it and
Mm.
you take it for what it is a very it makes sense as a finale based on what we were given this season about the story of Bo and the story of the Darksaber and the story of the clans coming together and reclaiming Mandalore. Like this is everything in this season accumulates to this happening, and it makes sense. And
It
I
makes sense.
I think that
I don't.
all the action scenes were
Oh,
amazing.
they were amazing by far.
Like 10 out of 10. This was the best
100%.
action packed episode probably of all 3 seasons. Like the most action. Like I don't really know.
I think Luke's scene was pretty amazing, but
that was
I
just a linear. Okay, he's destroying all these dark troopers.
it was so impactful to get him. But yeah, like the jetpack scenes in this were so cool. It was kind of crazy how no Mandalorians died though. That was kind of crazy.
None died.
I mean that we saw. Like I
Oh,
thought
right.
what's her name was gonna die.
The
Sasha
armor or
Brinks. Because they kept showing her fight a
Oh,
lot, you
her.
know? And I just thought she was like when she slid and stuff, I thought she was gonna all right, she's gonna die, and she didn't. Not that I'm disappointed that she didn't die, but like I don't know. Those troopers weren't that great. Like they clearly are Mandalorians, which is cool. But all right. So my prediction was throughout the episode last week, we were talking about who's the other spy. And my prediction, I was gonna make a prediction and post it before my watch party came out. But it was so off that I was like, I'm not even gonna do it. And also, like you said, Jeremiah, I should have done it like last week. And I was thinking about it multiple times. But my prediction was the armor was the other spy.
Yeah, that was what most people, as they pondered the episode, came to that conclusion.
Yeah.
I was on that board too. That it's probably
Because
the armor.
it makes sense, like for multiple reasons, right? Like the spikes on her head match the spike, like match what's his name spikes. The only ever time we've ever seen spikes on anyone's head has been from Maul. She could have been the lady that worked with Maul. So like that was a big one. Also, she kind of is running a cult, and now that Boca's back, she could have been playing her to get the Darksaber back to Moff's hands. And it was kind of interesting how like she thought like I don't know, it just there's like a lot of different factors why it could point to her, and then like she was gone, and then she left at the exact right time. It was like pretty convenient. It would have made a lot of sense, and I thought it would have been really cool and really impactful story arc. And then it wasn't anything, which is fine. It is fine. In hindsight, it's fine. But I feel like a lot of people are disappointed that that wasn't a thing.
I'm disappointed that she wasn't, but I'm also happy that she wasn't.
No, me too. I am
Like-
happy that she's actually still good. Like
Like
she's fine.
you go back and watch my reaction video. Like there's a part in there I kept like, okay, so I mean she's not the spy because she comes like, Lady Kreese, your backup has come or whatever she
Yeah,
says. Like
your fleet has arrived, or
and I was
whatever.
like, that was such a great.
It was
scene.
cool.
Now
I was happy,
yeah. So
but when she said that, I'm like, she's still the spy. Like I was still thinking, like she was gonna stab him in the back, you know, because it was all like the people that were on Mandalore. Which also we all thought that was potentially the spice too, because like, how would they not know that that giant culvert was there? I still don't really understand that.
You mean
But
how the Imperial facilities are?
yeah, like, and like Jeremiah, there was more than 15 TIE fighters. There was a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Like, it was not just 15. You know what I mean? And those were
I have to go back and look. I thought there was only like
no, I counted like I think 35 just off the one
30,
image. Dude, it was a
35.
lot. They just kept
What?
coming. Dude, you go back and watch. It's a lot. It's a lot. And so
Okay.
like it doesn't I'm convinced those are the people that attacked Bo-Katan's place for sure. Because that's why he needed them back, because they were destroyed. Some were destroyed. That's why he needed replacements.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. For how much we saw come out of that place, it was not just a handful. It was a good amount of people, which I don't understand how they would even come to Mandalore and not get spotted. But I mean, maybe they're just such in hiding they didn't even want to risk any.
Well, maybe they can. Moff Gideon is able to scan for life forms, and they just went when no one was around.
That and like
'Cause if you're literally like 20 miles away somewhere
So-
else, and if you're underground, you're not going to see him come.
correct.
So like,
And then also like those guys did say last week. See, I watched the last week's episode like 5 times. He said it where they anytime anyone has gone down here, they've never come back up. So
what?
the Mandos that were there, she said like, oh, I think Boca was like, Tom was like assuming that those would still be lit, and they weren't. And then he said anytime anyone has ever explored this place has never come back.
You're talking about the forge.
Yeah, the forge.
Oh,
so they're probably destroyed, right? Like killed by them right away. So maybe they just stay away from that area completely. And then we find out in this episode that they're farming, they're doing a lot of stuff outside to survive, that they're probably not searching the entire planet. They're probably sticking to their main areas to live, which makes sense.
right.
Because they're in hiding. Like they don't know how to get off the planet, and
Right.
so it makes sense. It's just like kind of weird, but there was no extra spies. They just
So I'm
Do you
guessing.
think they named that just to throw us off?
No, I think one is first is the undercover chick on Coruscant.
Yeah.
As one, but I'm also kind of thinking that the the Shadow Council. I think it was probably them, which doesn't necessarily make sense. But like, if they're the leader of their,
Like they're all spies throughout the galaxy.
like they're the spies throughout the galaxy trying to gain followers, to find remnants, to find those faithful to the Empire, and they're undercover where they're at in a sense to like recruit. Maybe those are the spies, or maybe they're spying on Gideon because they're all critical of Gideon.
Ooh,
something like that. So I'm thinking
potential.
that council is probably the spies in one way or another. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure at some point Dave Filoni is going to be asked that question, because unless you guys only listen to Empire Radio, we were not the only people that were like making these. Like everyone was thinking, any Star Wars, any anything was, everyone was thinking that there's a different spy, and everyone was pointing towards the armorer or pointing towards these other Mandalorians.
Yeah, well, in this episode, I thought it might have been Axe, because
I was thinking
when he got back to the ship and he told everybody to leave.
Told everyone to leave. Yeah,
there was a scene where like he's like the guy that was kind of the head navigator.
He was hesitant.
And I was like, I had to pull that out of my reaction because
that would have been perfect.
But that was the scene the one scene I take out that was getting flagged. So, but like, I remember I was like, what was that? Like, what was that look? Oh. And then I started freaking out like, oh, is this? Also, that guy kind of looked like Finn. Like, is that Finn's? I was thinking, is that Finn's dad?
Finn's cousin.
cousin or something, I was ready
Oh, you
to.
mean in the Star Wars universe?
Yeah, like is that Finn's dad? Because if
What if
Finn's
he's
own,
actually related to Finn in real life?
that would be kind of funny. But
Been cool.
um,
But yeah, so we were wrong, and like I said, a lot of this episode when I first watched it, I was kind of disappointed through that. But the more and more I think about this episode, I really do like the fighting scene. I'm not 100% happy with the outcome at the end with Mando that much. I think it's kind of
I I
lackluster for me.
we'll talk about it, and I think I can convince you that
Okay,
of
I'm down. I'm down.
why that is good. And
I'm
Tanner,
not
if you're
like
still listening,
Tan who
stay
like
till
is
the
like
end.
Tan is
Because
pretty upset.
I was listening to some people on YouTube talk about the ending, and
Tanner like legitly like that was a text. That was a private text to me. It was like convince me, and I'm like, well, come tonight. You'll be maybe convinced.
right. But yeah, like I was saying, first time I watched this episode, I was a little disappointed because I was comparing it to my expectations. But when I watched it again and started thinking about it and discussing in the Discord with people, I was like, this is way better than I thought it was, and it's my own fault for hating on it. And I
Yeah.
really liked it. I think it was a perfect finale for all the themes and things that were going on in this season. And moving forward with the Mandoverse, moving towards the movie, I think it's a perfect place, the way it ended. And so, like I said, the action was nonstop. I really liked it. I thought the whole aerial dogfight with people with jetpacks was just amazing. I know we saw that in Clone Wars and
But not
Rebels,
live action.
but not like this was just, dude,
Yeah. No, 100%.
like the part that I keep going back to is after they, crash into each other, the first time you see the armor come out of and just hit the guy, like that first time that you just see her come in and hit the guy with a hammer. That's so cool. She's out there with hammers killing people.
Dude, she was killing it.
I'm
And
so
like,
I felt
and
so
I
bad that I doubted her, and now I'm like,
dude,
I'm
that's what
sorry,
I'm
I'm
saying,
sorry.
right? It's like even watching that part, like it's so cool, and like, but when I watched it, I was like, the whole time, I'm like, she's bad still. Like, you know what I mean? Like the whole time, like this is cool, but I feel like I'm not supposed to like this. Like it's so dumb.
Like
It's like,
I feel like if I ever go to a con and what's her name? Emily Swallow, is that her name?
I
Is the
think so,
armor?
yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna meet her. I'm like, I have to feel like I
I'm
have to
sorry.
apologize. I'm sorry I doubted you.
I'm
Forgive
sorry
me.
ever doubting your
Do you have
character.
any living waters from Mandalore that you can bathe me in to redeem me? Because I'm so sorry.
For real. For real. Like, there's so
But
much of that. Like,
but the one thing that I'm really mad about, even though when we talk about it, it makes sense, but I was really mad that the Darksaber got destroyed.
oh, yeah.
Dude, that was my biggest reaction in my reaction video. Go check that out because I yelled out loud. I couldn't believe it. I was so mad because I love the Darksaber. It's in my top 5 sabers of all time,
Well,
and
they'll fix it.
It's not. I don't think so. And we'll
I
talk about it, but I think it's done. R.I.P. Darksaber and Tar Vizsla's.
They have to make a new merch, so they'll make a Ray version.
If they make a new one, it's Grogu's gonna make a saber, and it's gonna be a new thing.
But then he would be that they can't. Well, I guess it wouldn't make.
He can do whatever he wants.
No, but remember in season 2, Mandalorians should not make weapons that hurt the Mandalorian armor, like out of Beskar, and also sabers. So that's why only one saber is in charge. So like if Grogu
the
makes
blade,
it,
the blade of the Darksaber is not Beskar though, just the hilt. So the blade is not causing the damage.
no,
the hilt is not making the damage. The blade is making the damage. So it's not.
So if he makes one out of Beskar, then he wouldn't be able to do that. That's what I'm saying.
No. What I'm saying.
Oh, you're just saying he's just gonna make a.
No,
saber?
I'm saying that doesn't count against the rule because Beskar isn't causing the damage. The blade of the Kyber crystal is making the damage.
I thought that was what they were saying though. That's why there's only one that the Mandalorians can use.
Because that was the only Jedi or Mandalorian inducted into the Jedi,
Oh.
and he made the Darksaber
Well, we know from
as
the
a
Ahsoka
Jedi.
trailer that the guy who makes lightsabers is alive.
That is true.
And there's no way we're going to see this Ahsoka show and not see Din Grogu probably at some point.
I don't think we're going to see them at all.
Oh.
If we do, it's going to be at an end credit
But
scene
how,
or
how,
mid
how
credit
did they
scene.
make it all one movie?
There's other things going on other than just one.
Okay,
Whoa.
I understand this. But I'm just saying, we're probably going to get a 2-episode arc when it's just
I don't know.
Grogu
I
and
think there's
Din.
shows that are going to be coming out that have not been announced yet.
Ooh.
Because there's no way they're going from here to Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew and then this year, and then we're going to wait 3 years for the Mando movie. Like, there's going to be other shows that they're going to bring out, I'm assuming. There's probably going to be another Book of Boba Fett something. There's probably going to be season 2 of Ahsoka at some point. So
I don't think they're making Boba.
I don't think they're going to make
I don't think Boba.
a Mandalorian
we're making
season
another
4.
Boba Fett movie show. I think that show got too bad of blowback that they're not going to do that again.
Well, I think it's a lot of this stuff has been written. Like I talked about last week, I think a lot of this Mando stuff has been
I think
in the
it's been
works
written, but I don't
years
think
and
they're
years.
willing to make mistakes anymore.
They had to pivot when what's her face got fired. The Rangers of the Republic got canceled, so they had to pivot a little bit. But
I can't imagine to make Boba.
But then, wasn't there a thing at the end of the Book of Boba Fett, like Boba Fett will return or something like that? Didn't it say that? I thought it said that. I can't remember.
No, we just saw what's his name getting built.
Oh yeah, what's his?
That was it. Which, at least we.
Yeah, that means he's come. That's what I mean. Like it's coming back. Like his story's coming back.
I don't
so
think
that means
we won't see them. I just don't
something-
think we're gonna have their own show again. That's what I'm saying. Like we could see them in what's that show? Skeleton Crew or whatever. We could see Tatooine. We can see Boba. I'm surprised we didn't.
I think they said that show is going to be, even though it's connected,
Okay.
it's going to be more disconnected. It's more like a side thing, even though it matters to the story, to the Mandoverse. So I don't think there's going to be any crossover with that.
Okay, well,
But-
and in that case, I don't think we're gonna see Boba and Ahsoka.
I know. I never said they were.
Yeah,
I'm saying there's going to be other shows after Ahsoka and
Oh.
Skeleton Crew that are going to be part of the Mandoverse that they haven't announced yet. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Because I don't think that they're going to do a.
which if that's the case, Jeremiah, then are we not gonna get this movie for like 2027?
I don't know. It's probably not going to be till 25 or 26. So I don't think it'll be 27. I think that's kind of far out. But I'm just saying there's a lot more that they have in the works than we realize. So
I hope you're right. I don't want it to end.
it's going to end. They got the movie announced, so it's going to end.
Well, that's to wrap up this part. It doesn't mean it's gonna end.
Once that movie's out, we're not going to see Din and Grogu ever again. Unless it's like Grogu's like 400 years old and it takes place.
I was watching a
350
video
years.
about how like
He's probably going to show up in the Rey movie. I guarantee you Grogu's going to be in the Rey movie.
no, I was watching this video about how like Yoda has said that he's been part of the Jedi Order since he was 100, and he died at like
900.
yeah. So that means Grogu potentially won't be fully developed enough to even like communicate until he's like 100. So for like another 50 years,
Which would be
the Rey one. So he'd
The
be
Rey
a
one.
young Mandalorian Jedi.
yeah. But anyway, we've been rambling on for
And
way
will
too
be
long.
dead probably.
So we should do scenes from the episode. So I'm going to try and break it up by storyline rather than chronological because it's going back and forth every 5 seconds between all those storylines. So,
Which one are you starting with?
well, let's do with the axe going up
Okay.
and getting so because that's just how the episode starts. So, episode starts off where it left off from last week. Bo is leading the charge away from this in the escape with everyone following behind. She radios Axe, who's on his way up to the fleet, and she's like, "Oh, it's been an ambush. There's Imperial, like we're blah blah blah. Like they're sending the TIE fighters and bombers to the fleet. You gotta warn them. You gotta get everybody out of there. Blah blah blah." While he's flying through the storm, and then they lose communication. But he flies through this thing. He gets up there, and after he clears the storm and he's in space, he radios in like, "Hey, I'm incoming. Blah blah blah. We got to evacuate. Blah blah blah." And I really loved how he flew through the shield gate thing and just started running. Like it was just a seamless. Like, dude, I really like. Axe was always like, I don't know, a jerk kind of a guy. I was gonna say axe hole, but like I don't know. But this, like him, like actually carrying, like this
Yeah, I mean
everything.
he
He was like,
wasn't this season, but last season he kind of was just there.
I don't think he. Oh, he was less. Yeah, sorry. He was in one episode, just the one episode, and Sasha was in 2 episodes or
Really?
three
I thought
three
he was
episodes.
thought he was in all of them, just in
No,
the background.
no,
Really?
he was there for the one when we see him first, and then when Din and Boba
'Cause
go to recruit Bo-Katan, she's there with Sasha, but he's not
that's
there.
true. Because then Boba and
And then
Sasha get at it.
he's not there with them when they go rescue Grogu. So he was only there for one episode. But
Yeah. So I
anyway,
guess we don't really knew his personality until now.
right. But I always thought seemed like he didn't care. Or he was kind of like a whatever. But here, I really loved him, and kind of like sacrificing basically his life, like potentially to save everybody. And so he goes.
Do you think? I think I would have liked that arc if he would have actually died with the ship, because that was like his ship kind of towards the end.
Oh yeah, but
And him and Heavy Mando both sacrificing themselves for that would have been kind of cool.
it would have been cool, but it was an easy way to escape. Like he didn't have to die.
True.
But yeah, so and I really like so then everyone starts evacuating. He says, "I'm going to take care of the ship," and I think it was more so to be a decoy to the fighters and the bombers because he had to like by himself try and shoot turrets to make it look like they're manned, and so that because if he didn't shoot at the fighters and the bombers, they would just return back and taken out
left
all the gauntlets and stuff.
Yep.
So he made it as a distraction, and it was so cool seeing everyone jump out of the main ship into space, fly down to the gauntlets, land into it, and how then all the ships they go through the clouds, and then the TIE fighters and the bombers come up out of the clouds, and they never saw each other because they can't communicate. They can't have radar. They can't. So I'm like, that was such a perfect scene. And I even said, I keep talking about my reaction because it's like whatever. But like, I was like, wow, this is a great scene of them just going down, and then the ships come up out of this thing. I'm like, oh man, this is even better. Like this is a great scene. And so I thought that was really well done. How they used that story point of the storm blocking communication so that they could pass each other and not even realize it. So that was cool. And so then once they get through the storm, they radio or while they're in the storm and they can start doing communication, the cavalry has arrived basically. And so then the two groups from the ground and from the sky, they meet up. And so and they start flying jetpacks through the air all together. Bo-Katan rips out her Darksaber and leads the charge. I'm like, this is so cool. And then they go down into the facility. So we'll stop right there for now, just for that scene, just because it's overlaps with everything else. But I thought that was really cool how the fleet joined the ground battle in a sense. I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
very well done how they did that. And so the people on the ground, while they're waiting for reinforcements, the we call them the pirate Mandos. They like, well, we got a place you can hide. They're not gonna find us. And they go to an underground cave where there's plant life, which we've never seen on Mandalore outside, except for what's in the dome cities, like Bo says. And so they're like, oh yeah, these are. We didn't find these plants. We farmed them because once people left and the world could just do what it does on its own, like the ancient
They started to grow.
started to grow because they had the space. There wasn't war and conflict because before Mandalore used to be like a beautiful place, and then all the wars and all the infighting and all that stuff,
They've been fighting for
hundreds of years. And then there was a Jedi Mandalorian war. Wasn't that like 100 years before Episode 1 or something like that? Or
I think
or
so.
didn't
Is that canon?
well
Parts of it's canon for sure now.
didn't
but
didn't Boba say something about Jango Fett? Like he fought in the maybe it was like only like 30 or 40 years or something before.
Yeah, there was something that Boba said that like
So there was that the
recanonized his dad, because the
but that
original
was
canon of his dad was that he just found the armor.
right, but did he mention that it was a Jedi Mandalorian war?
I don't remember. Chat, you'll have to help us out.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure that it's a lot more recent than we think it is, like, which is like, man,
I want that movie.
I want that movie or that TV series or something. That's like
Jeez. Or that
Jedi.
video game.
Well, this episode was like a video game.
Oh, that was so cool.
But like, that'd be just a cool seeing Jedi and Mandalorians fight each other like in a war. That'd be a great story to see. And we could see Jango Fett fighting in it. Like that'd be cool. But we probably won't see that anytime soon. But yeah, so they learn about the plants and the stuff, and like, yeah, we got food and we got stuff all around the planet that we can have stashed for food and blah blah blah. And he's like, there's threats on the surface and underground, and so
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. Even though we've only seen the underground stuff in the show, like the giant monster that popped out, the spider guy, the spider tank guy.
Those creatures that Grogu pushed away. The green guys with one claw.
Yeah, those guys. So
I mean, but they were above ground too.
yeah, well, we don't know what he's referring to, but obviously it's just
They're screwed.
it's easier to
They
survive
have to
underground
do a lot
than
of work
on the surface. But
yeah.
So it was cool seeing Bo have the hope that the planet can be restored.
Yeah.
As long as they stop fighting
Yep.
and having civil wars and stuff, they can rebuild.
I don't know how long
the
that's
planet.
gonna last.
Oh, it's gonna take forever. Like,
well, I don't know how long they're gonna not fight. But
I don't know. We'll see. Because the big thing is that prophecy of, the return of the Mandalore and the Mythosaur, and there'll be a new age for Mandalore. So as I think the prophecy that they've believed in is kind of hinting that Mandalore is going to be at a point of prosperity and peace and stuff moving forward. So that's cool. But yes, so while all that's happening, we got our boy Din Djarin doing his own thing in the facility, because last week he got not kidnapped, captured And so
Kidnapped.
he's being dragged through the halls by two troopers, and then he's all tied up. But he's like, I ain't going down without a fight. And so he just starts fighting these guys, all legs tied together, his hands tied together, and he puts up a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was not expecting Grogu to come to the rescue.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Makes perfect sense when you see it happen. But I'm like, how did he know how to get there? How did he
It makes sense that he was the one to do it, but how did he get there? That was my question too. That was my other flaw. That was like, I forgot to mention. Like, I forgot. Like, how did he get there?
There must have been another door somewhere.
How did Bo-Katan not realize he left there?
Well, I'm thinking while they're running away and she's leading a charge, she just decided to stop running. And
What kind of mom is she? Come on.
well, she's not a mom because her and Din are not romantically interested in each
Okay.
other. So
Opinions. Gotta
But
wait to the Bo-Katan show.
also, he could have just
I think he just snuck away.
snuck away, but he could have just went back and like
But he
opened.
couldn't go through that door.
Could have. Maybe it opened up after he just got pushed a button.
I guess we just have to assume that he
So
maybe he forced the door open,
yeah, because IG thing are pretty strong, so he could have just
or he could have used the force too.
he could do that. But yeah, so he comes,
'Cause
rescues.
apparently, he doesn't pass out when he uses the force that much anymore.
Because he's getting stronger with the force. That's why.
Yeah. And
So
2 years of training
and
doesn't
more-
mean good.
and more confident and more brave and
Mhm.
all that stuff. But I thought it was really funny how once the two guys are defeated, he just starts spraying the back to spray.
The healing.
Like, you got enough? I'm spraying you, Dad. Are you good? Are you good? He's like, I'm fine. Stop spraying me. I thought it was just funny. But here Din's like, all right, boy, we got to have a pep talk because we got to stop Gideon now, because if we don't, we're always going to be running from him. He's always going to be after you, all this jazz. He's always going to be a threat. And he's like, I need you to be brave. Are you on board? And Grogu just nods like, got it. We're doing it. So they start sneaking around as they do in Star Wars. And Din's like,
no weapons.
no weapons other than like,
Why didn't he pick
which
up
is
the weapons of the people
which
he
is
just
weird
killed?
because he had like a knife from when he fought those two guys.
And he left it.
Left it, I guess.
And also, they had guns. Like, why didn't he take their guns?
Unless they just got smashed when they're wrestling and stuff. But
Like, maybe. That was another. I'm like, why did he grab anything back then? Like,
I don't know. But they are going through, and Din's like, radios, hey, R5, I need you, bud. Oh, cool,
Mhm.
R5. I didn't even know he was here. Like, I didn't even.
I mean, we saw him go in he was in the ship with Bo-Katan
Okay, I
when
guess
they landed.
maybe I missed it. I don't know. Did he get off the ship though, or did he stay on the ship? 'Cause I don't
I think
remember.
he stayed on the ship.
Okay, so he radios him like, hey guy, I need your help. I need you to find where the communication room is, or whatever it was, communication center. And he's like, the droid starts to speak binary, and he's like, I don't know what you're saying. I just need you to
Like, I don't speak binary, but
which is
please
weird.
help
I didn't.
me.
Which is, it makes sense because he doesn't like droids, so he never had time to like spend with them.
Yeah, because he knows a lot of other languages.
But it seems
It's not
like
that he doesn't know languages.
But it seems like he's the only Star Wars character that doesn't know how to speak binary, which is kind of funny. It seems like everybody
Well,
knows what their
but
droids are saying.
I mean, but even Luke didn't know binary until like episode 6.
Yeah, but he learned. But like,
Well, yeah,
I
but
just
I'm
felt
just saying
like-
Luke grew around droids and he still didn't even know binary. Because we see that in episode 5 when R2 is talking, he's reading what R2 is saying.
I'm just
in the
saying,
comm. He'll learn it.
99.
R5 is his His boy now.
It's
I don't.
very odd to see someone who doesn't speak binary. That's my point. Like,
Yeah, but it makes sense. It makes perfect sense.
yes. So he's like, I need you to find where Gideon is. Blah blah blah. He flies down onto one of the platforms into the facility, and he almost rolls off the edge. And oh gosh,
I saw your reaction to that.
I
You're
got
like,
so mad. I'm
"Ugh."
like, gosh, what are you doing? This is so bad.
Did he almost roll off, or did he look and get scared?
No, he almost rolled off, and then saw where he was
Oh.
going, and then he got scared and rolled back. But that doesn't matter. He could have fell because he has jetpacks, so it doesn't matter. But like,
I thought he was like, "Do I really want to do this?" And then he looked how far down, and then he got scared.
no,
But
he was
he
just
almost fell.
he almost fell. So
I like his character.
yes, I'm liking him more.
I like that he's a scaredy cat droid. Maybe that's why his motivator broke, because he was scared all the time.
Maybe. But he plugs in, gets the schematics for the whole facility because, they don't have encrypted things that can't be broken into so easily, but whatever. That's Star Wars. Like, have you seen that meme where it's like Star Wars and it's like a book that's like 12 inches thick, and then Star Wars if droids didn't have data ports to like plug into, and it's just like 3
The
pages long.
smallest thing.
Everything would have been everything in Star Wars would never happen the way it did without those data ports or whatever. I don't even know what are they called. I don't know. But like,
I mean,
plugging in open
Echo
doors.
can use it, so
he gets the schematics. He finds a way there, and then he gets to where those shield doors are that we saw last week for where Moff Gideon had his meetings, and he got the guards in there, the troopers, and he's like, "All right, R5, I need you to open one layer at a time because I don't have any weapons, so I got to take 2 people at a time." So he goes in, and I thought it was really cool how like every level gets harder and harder. Like the first 2 guys, all they have are like simple blasters and vibro blades, and the next one they have like the batons and the shields, and then it's like harder and harder as they go. And I don't know. I thought it was like a video game, just it getting harder and harder as you progress. Did you like that scene, Drew?
yeah, I liked it. I think it was really well done, and it answers our question from last week. We thought, like, did we think that those guys were they actually in there, or
Oh yeah.
we
Right.
thought maybe they're just suits, but they were actually really in there. They were just guards.
Yep.
So
that
was cool.
And they have this random bottomless pits in the holes in each level. Like, why do they have these random pits?
Yeah,
Like,
because remember last season they had the same thing where it was like a bridge, and on both sides you can fall down to your death.
yeah,
You just go through the thing. That's just Star Wars space design.
Yep. And so I really liked the first set where he kills the last guy and he tries to grab his gun before he falls down and he misses it. I thought that was a really good detail that they put in there.
I liked it too because it kind of made us remember episode 1. You know what I mean? Like for me, I was like, oh, this reminds me of those doors from Maul. It kind of like was like like a small Easter egg kind of thing. Like I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So they get through and they get into the cloning room. So like last week we saw the cloning tubes, but we were like, is this Palpatine stuff? Is this his own personal? So like we didn't know what were in the tubes, but we get a close-up look this week and what's in there, and it's Moff Gideon clones, which is interesting. And you would think that he would clone younger versions of himself, but this guy is so full of himself that he clones them, and they're just old guys like him in his 50s or 60s or whatever. So I thought that was kind of
which makes sense why they're not the best at fighting either.
So
all those guys are him.
yeah, and Din decides to destroy them all, which I don't understand like how they just exploded by him pushing a few buttons. Like I don't know. I thought they could just like he could just opened them and the bodies would just falling out and that
But
killed
that
them.
one
But
was that one alive? Maybe.
yeah, because his eyes open.
Yeah. So they might have been like little zombie things.
Right. So
I thought that was pretty cool too. Like you knew that his eyes were gonna open, but
yep.
it's still like, oh, what is it gonna happen, kind of thing. So I thought that scene was pretty cool.
Yeah, you can see my reaction to that too in my video. I knew it was coming. I was like, like
Yeah, like there it is.
So, classic jump scare that people do in movies and shows, just eyes opening on a body. But he gets through, and then you hear Gideon yawn. These are my clones. These are like I was making the perfect clone. Blah blah blah. Every perfect like attribute, and the only thing I was missing was the Force. I wanted the Force, and I made them so they could be Force sensitive, and then you killed them before they could take their first breath. And then Din's like, I don't care. He has to start shooting them, and then he puts his helmet on, and then they start fighting 1v1, and then the Praetorian guards come out. And then Grogu comes out to save his dad because he starts yelling, no, 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 because Din's getting destroyed by those Praetorian guards. And then the guards see Grogu, and they go after Grogu. And this is where I felt kind of sad. Like, at first I was like, okay, Grogu's going to like use the Force. Like, we're going to see him go all crazy with the Force and kill these guys. But then he didn't, and he started to retreat, and he could barely walk, almost like he was going to tip over. And Gideon was stopping Din from pursuing, and so then the doors close, and Grogu's by himself, and Din has to fight Gideon by himself. And when this is happening, this is when the big aerial battle with the jetpacks is happening. And so
you can see it in the distance too, which is pretty cool.
So all those Mandalorians led by Bo-Katan went down into the cavern, and then a bunch of troopers with their jetpacks flew up to meet him. And it was just classic two sides flying into each other. And
are they troopers or are they his clones?
Troopers, not clones.
Oh, they're not his clones.
No. Because he's like, you killed all my clones.
I thought. True.
So, because they're all the same as the ones we saw before, and they're just regular troopers. So, this fight scene I thought was in the sky was just amazing in every way. I think the armor shown the best. She flying around with hammers, just knocking people in half with hammers, and then Bo-Katan, she's using the Darksaber and shooting, and everyone else is shooting, and it was just
I thought it was cool because they're going down, and then they would like pull up and like fight standing almost, and
like they would stop and then hit and then go. But like, man,
you're so cool.
Your accuracy has to be like spot on because you miss by a fraction of a second, you're swing and miss.
Yep.
And so it's like timing has to be perfect, and it was just great.
Yeah.
No complaints about all that. And Bo-Katan used her knee rockets at one point. That was
cool.
that
was amazing.
I didn't even know she had knee rockets on, and she did it anyway. And
it was so sick. When that happened, I was like, "What the heck?"
I
reacted pretty heavily.
Better than Boba Fett doing it last season in season 2.
Well, because he move. Huh? She was like mid move.
Yeah.
She shot him, which was pretty cool.
Right. So that's going on. It's great. And so it goes to Grogu in the room by himself with the 3 Praetorian guards. And I thought that Grogu was going to take him out on his own, which he didn't. He didn't do anything until Din showed up, which makes sense because it's Mandalorians work better together than individually. So it makes sense with the story. Just I thought Grogu was going to use the Force and pull one of those weapons out and like at least take one of them out or something.
That would have been so cool if he all of a sudden became Yoda.
Jumping around, flipping around.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
So, but he jumps up on top of the like a rail system or whatever. I think that was at the room that had the meeting with the hologram. So those are just
I think so. Yeah,
hanging,
I think
and
those
those
are
projectors. That's what why they're hanging up. So he's running around on top of there, but then they cut it with one of the weapons, and he falls, and then they're about to kill him, and
Well, he gets pinned.
he gets pinned, and he's like
Kind of like
he's using like the
Obi-Wan
force to hold
did.
up to like one of the bars that fell on him. And so I was like, "Oh, Grogu's dead. R.I.P. He's not gonna get out of here."
That's literally how Jeremiah would have acted if he would have died too. Like, oh, he died.
Yep. So then
I was like, no, not Grogu. I was freaking out.
right, but just outside the door, Bo-Katan sees that Din's by himself fighting, and so she goes in. She like basically jetpack tackles Gideon, which she should have had her saber out and stabbed him when she crashed into him. Like he didn't see her coming, and so she could have killed him.
That's a stab in the back, man.
Perfect. So she's like, "All right, I'll fight Gideon. You go get your son." Aw, son, like it's funny. And so Din goes in and does some work, shoots down the one guy that's about to kill Grogu, and then it's all fights on. And Grogu, he's using the Force to push a Praetorian Guard, deflect a weapon, pull a weapon away, or something like that. And so they're working together, and they defeat the 3 Praetorian Guards together, while Bo-Katan is fighting Gideon. And they're fighting, and Gideon destroys the Darksaber. And I was very sad.
Yeah.
Very, very sad.
When that happened, I was like, what the heck? He should have took a step back, maybe drink some tea, and then maybe he would have been able to calm down before he broke. Like, he didn't have to break it. He could still use it himself. But no, he wasn't zen.
That is true. So if you're ever in a fight to the death with someone and you want to break the tension a little bit, share a cup of coffee or tea from Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea, which happens to be our sponsor for tonight. So let's go take a listen.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRERADIO, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it. All right. So they're fighting Bo and Moff Gideon, and so she loses the Darksaber. It's completely destroyed, and he's like, "Oh, the Darksaber is no more. You are nothing. Blah blah blah. And you Mandalorians are nothing without your gadgets," or whatever he says. And she's like, "Well, we work better together." And then Din and Grogu come from behind and they start shooting and blah, blah, blah. And so now they're a team. So it's 3 versus 1. And all 3 of them work together and they're fighting Gideon. And we forgot to mention that we actually learn more about his suit in this fight. Because last week we just saw the suit. We didn't really know anything about it. But this is like an Iron Man suit, basically, made out of Beskar.
Yep.
So it's just not armor. It's actually like the Dark Trooper suit. Like he's actually like using it, which is weird because
It's like very droid mechanic-y.
yeah, and it's weird because like last season, Gideon was like, we removed the worst part of the Dark Trooper thing, which is the person. Now we perfected it, but now he puts a person in it.
Well,
Make it
he's
better.
not the worst person, remember?
Right. So it's just kind of funny that he says that.
Yeah.
But so this is like extra strong. Like he can punch better. He can, I'm assuming, run. Like he can push much more strong. Like he can like,
Crush a dark saber with his hand.
Someone knocking at my door.
Could be thunder and lightning.
Maybe, I don't know. I thought I heard knocking. Anyway,
Well, we didn't. So.
Yes, his suit. So it's like an Iron Man suit. So no one's gonna beat him 1v1. Like doesn't matter who you are because he's just so much stronger.
Yeah.
So, but now there's 3 of them, and they're all putting their work in. And Grogu, he goes in and he force pushes. He's like slides and like force pushes him and like, and so Gideon, he's using like a dual bladed staff type thing, which is really cool. Kind of reminded me of Maul's thing of a dual ended saber. And
very similar to what the guards were using.
Right. And so that's what he's doing. But Grogu, he force pushes it off the ledge, and then Gideon's about to shoot Grogu, but then Din shoots his hand, so it's like he doesn't hit Grogu. And then like, so they're all like working together. And when this is happening, if you're looking in far in the background on the other side of the cavern, you see someone fighting over there, which is a surprise because she's also a Mandalorian that we know of, and her name is Lucy, and she was there fighting alongside Bo-Katan and Armorer, and she has a message. She sent us a voicemail with a special message while in the middle of this battle. So this is an important message, so we'll take a listen.
Hey everyone, Fictional Lucy here. If you're wondering what all that shooting is in the background, that's because I'm in a laser battle. So I need you to hear this very important message. You see, I'm from the Voicemail Cinematic Universe, which is an original Star Wars audio drama created by Empire Radio fans through voicemails. This battle is really intense, but you can't see the true drama of it since this is just audio. That's what I need your help with. You need to illustrate the VCU. That's right, I need a picture to go along with every voicemail in this story. Any type of media, Lego, painting, digital, anything. Just go into the description of this episode and find the link that takes you directly to a Google Doc. It'll tell you exactly how to submit your work. So please, start illustrating and get me out of this mess. I really hate this guy, but in the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it. Yes, the VCU project is so important that while in the middle of a battle, she wanted us to help out. So yes, click the link below. We're almost done with the project. We only have like 20 more voicemails to illustrate, and then we're done. And so please, don't let Daz Doris do every single one like he's been doing. Even though we'll take everything because it's great, because he's doing Lego stop motion stuff, but I want to see more people. Come on. We know you got some artists out there that haven't clicked the link yet. Just click the link. Super easy. But anyway, yes. While this is going on, our boy Axe, he calls in and he's like, hey, the ship's going down. I'm going to crash it into the facility to destroy it. And so everybody get out of there right now. Like, oh, this is escalating very quickly. So he's flying half a ship, basically. Just like Anakin and Obi-Wan flying half a ship, even though it's fully intact. But it's all on fire, and he's steering it down. And so all the Mandalorians, they start flying out of there. He's aiming, but then Bo and Din and Grogu and Moff Gideon, they're still fighting on that platform, not getting on. I'm like, okay. Are they all going to die? They're not getting off. So he aims the ship. When he knows it's going in the right spot, he shoots a window gets sucked out and flies out of there. So Axe, he's good to go. Great plan. If only he could give a little bit more warning, but you can't because there's no communication. So
Yeah, there wasn't communication.
it's
until
like he just was
then.
hoping that he could radio him in time and people would be able to get out. So best move, it also could have been like the worst move. It could have just destroyed all the Mandalorians.
Ended all Mandal.
Yep. And he would have been the only one that survives. Like he would have jetpacked out of there, and I guess if he's the only one left, he'd be the ruler of Mandalore, just like he won. So,
Or he won it. I don't think he wants anymore.
right. So everyone's getting out of there except for the 4 on the stage or on the
stage.
stage on,
On
the
the
platform or whatever. And so the ship crashes and everything's exploding, everything's firing, it's going down the hole. That's a big, deep hole. Like it's not just a little guy. So it takes a while to get down, even though I thought it was going to go a little bit faster. But so the crash happens, the flames come out, and Moff Gideon gets consumed by flames. Question is
Is he dead?
Is he dead?
I'm
Drew, what
gonna
do you
say
think?
no.
No?
No.
I
He's too good of an actor. We didn't see him die. We didn't see a body. He was wearing a legit droid armor, Mandalorian armor. Earlier in this episode, we saw Din on fire. And he was able to stop, drop, and roll and get out of there. And then catch the other guy on fire. Like, I don't think he's dead.
So my initial thing is he's still alive. Now maybe one of his clones survived, and we see a clone in the
That's
future.
possible too. I just don't think we're not gonna not see a version of him in season 4.
So now we'll go into like we're gonna jump ahead to like the ending now, just because it's relevant to this possible death or not. But I think story-wise, I think he did die, because I feel that these 3 seasons of The Mandalorian are its own arc, and Gideon is the big bad of these 3 seasons. And now with his death, ushers in
Thrawn.
the Thrawn as the enemy.
I'm okay with that if that's what we do. I'm just not convinced right now, and I'm not willing to like put my house on it that he's dead.
I think
But
that
if they like,
I think the writing team is wise enough to say, all right, he's finally dead, and now here's the next stage in the story, and it's
I could see that.
Thrawn. And I think, and so that's why this can end on a happy ending, like it did with him having a cabin with his son on the edges of Navarro, where like the Mandalorian arc is done. Even though we're going to see these characters in the future with the Mandoverse stuff, with Ahsoka story and
Mando
Thrawn
season
stuff.
4.
Well, they said season 4, but
It's confirmed. What do you mean?
Jon Favreau said he wrote season 4. But I don't.
I'm pretty sure they confirmed at Star Wars Celebration that there's going to be a season 4.
Even so, that is not going to be related to Moff Gideon, if there is. It's going to be part of the next stage of the story.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be if there's a season 4, it's not going to be next year or something. I think it's going to be, it could maybe be the last thing that goes into the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's going to be anything anytime soon. And so I think story-wise, Gideon is dead because this story here is done, and now it's the next chapter of the story. So, and like I said, if he does come back, it's going to be his Force-sensitive one, his clone. And I hope it's like the first episode of season 4, and it's like Din just shoots him in the head and he dies. All right. Like someone in the Discord today was like, somehow Gideon returned. That's what's gonna be said or something. Like, it'd be funny, but I don't know.
I don't. I like your thinking, and I would love that. Like that would make sense. I think he's still gonna come back, but because he failed so bad that he's also gonna be kind of exiled with Thrawn's plans and stuff.
It's just like I don't know, like what he would do to come back. Like what would his? Yeah, he would have the same motivation, like to seek revenge against the Mandalorians, but like, how would that play into the rest of the story moving forward? Like, I don't know how it would be
I don't know.
relevant.
We still have that girl spy,
That is true.
and she wasn't loyal necessarily to the Empire. She was loyal to Moff Gideon.
That is true.
So I think that's something that they're gonna still develop and work with, because they developed her character. We saw her more in this show than we saw him.
Right.
So they're developing her character and her story arc, and like maybe that's the only tie maybe in some and like these other shows is like her character potentially. I'm
Unless
not sure.
unless you know she's a spy. Yes, she's a spy for Gideon in the New Republic. But I
Mhm.
wonder if she's also spying on the rest of the Shadow Council. Like if she's gonna be playing like she's faithful
loyal to Moff Gideon.
right, but I'm saying I wonder if she's gonna work with the Shadow Council, but be like a spy on them in like for whatever Gideon's rest of his faithful are doing. Because I don't know, does he have more people outside of this Mandalorian facility that are on his
Loyal
team?
to him.
I don't
It
know.
doesn't seem like, well, for sure this council doesn't seem like it.
Right, and then I
Like
wonder.
they're willing to go with him because they believe that he had more power in the moment, and he was more willing to do something than Thrawn was in the moment, because they were tired of waiting on Thrawn. But then it fails drastically, so now they're not going to be loyal to him at all. So that's why I think it when he comes back, it's going to be more of him trying to develop his loyalty again through the Empire. I don't think it's going to be like he's going to be a big antagonist again.
Do you think he would be like a? I always get the terms mixed up, like a anti-hero or
Maybe
anti.
like he's going to
where
play.
he's gonna be so mad at what Thrawn is accomplishing that he's gonna join in to like fight Thrawn, but not like to be a good guy, but because he just wants him to lose.
Yeah, that's.
Just try
It
and
seems like his
sabotage him.
motivation is more for himself than anything else, and we know that he's not part of the cloning. All the cloning stuff he did had nothing to do with Palpatine.
Right.
It was all for himself worth, his self idea. Like Jeremiah, you even said in this episode that he cloned a 30 or a 40-year-old version of himself. Like he didn't even clone like a 20-year-old version of himself when she clearly probably could. We saw that in that whole thing. Like he could clone like a really fit young person, but he didn't. Like that's how much he is selfishly. So I don't think anything he's doing from this point on, if he's still alive, is going to be for the Empire. It's going to be for himself to be in charge of the Empire. So yeah, I think his way back in, he's going to have to play nice, but then he's going to start stabbing people in the back too, which I think would be kind of cool.
I don't know if he's gonna.
I don't know if we'll see it. I have no idea.
I don't think he's gonna like join the good guys. I think he's gonna like show up to like sabotage Thrawn, or at least try to.
Yeah. Exactly. I agree. But I don't think he's dead.
Because like
in Star Wars, we need a body. We need to physically see someone
and
dead.
it was weird how it was almost like he embraced the flames because he put his arms out
Yeah.
Like, it was really weird, like, how he did that. Like, it was almost like by doing that, it's like a defensive move or something. I don't know. Like,
It was almost like he like maybe like fell down the shaft and like hid underneath and like hid away from the flames a little bit too. Like
something.
I don't know.
So I
'Cause
think
he
he's
has a
still alive.
jetpack on.
I think
I
there's
don't know.
I think story wise, 75% chance that he's dead. But
Correct.
there's this evidence to suggest that he's still alive. So it's
Yeah.
always gonna be in the back of my head moving forward.
Yeah. I agree with you. I'm okay if they kill him. I'm okay if he's actually dead. But there's a lot of evidence in Star Wars that to tell me that he's not dead. Until we see his physically body, they can always bring him back.
You think that they would,
And they would show us that if they really wanted him dead.
because it's
That's
like,
my
okay,
thing.
if he fell down and died, they would have went down there to like try and find his body.
That's the thing, right? Is
And
like
like they reported to the New Republic that he was dead.
yes.
So
But
like, are we supposed to assume that means that they confirmed his death? Like,
I don't know, bro. I want to see that helmet.
on
I
that,
wanted to see
in that bar,
yes.
the helmet in the bar, the
Yes.
pilot bar or whatever.
Exactly. That's what I wanted to see.
Or do you want to see
him
that
bring-
on, or do you want to see that helmet like in your background someday?
Well, that too. We know that's gonna come out at some point, and your boy's definitely gonna get that because this looks so cool, and it's completely different design too. It's not like they're gonna just paint the Boba Fett helmet and add spikes to it and that's
Right.
and call it like it's completely different design. So
Yep.
in like 4 years we'll probably get it, and I'm all for that. I'm down. That'd be dope. Yeah, I think if they really wanted to confirm that he was dead, Din would have walked in with that helmet.
Oh,
and
that was so cool.
Gave it to
Dang it,
right?
Drew.
Right?
You're right.
If they really wanted to confirm that he was dead, he would have walked in with that helmet and put it on the table and said, "Add this to your collection."
Dang it. That's a
yeah, he's
good
not
point.
dead, bro.
They showed us those helmets for more than just showing us IG's head. Like,
Mhm.
dang it, Drew.
That was a trophy. He literally calls it too. Oh, Grogu's admiring our trophy wall. Well, you should have brought the main trophy.
Right.
So I don't think he's dead.
Yep. Well, that being said, big giant,
I'm okay if he's dead, but
the big flames are consuming everything, going onto the platform, and Bo and Din and Grogu right there, and they're defenseless. Bo has her little like 12-inch energy shield. That's not gonna do crap, and they just get consumed by fire. And then I completely forgot that Grogu could make a force bubble and protect against the fire like he did in season 1 finale.
oh,
I can-
yeah, he did that already.
Like,
I forgot he did.
I
it.
remember in my reaction, I keep referring to my reaction, but like, go
Mhm.
watch my reaction. But I'm like watching this, and then it goes, the music changes, and it's Grogu. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. He could do this. Duh. Like, they're not gonna kill off these 3 guys all at one
I
time.
just assumed. I was like, oh yeah, Grogu's saving them.
So
But I totally forgot that he already did this too,
yeah.
which makes it even less climactic. But yeah.
So Grogu, he holds back the fires enough, and Bo and Din are like, oh dang, this is intense. But flames are done, and they survive. Everything's good to go. And that's it for like the conflict and the war and the fighting. So then it kind of ends with the Mandalorian stuff where, one, they go to the living waters and they're having a ceremony service, like whatever you want to call it, baptism party, whatever. And Ragnar, Paz's kid, gets, like, I was confused on why he was getting like baptized with the water, because he already took the creed. He's already like, why is he? Is it?
He never got baptized, and he never replaced. So if you rewatch the first episode, he never actually says, "I won't ever take my helmet off."
Well, right, but he still
So
got the helmet, and they're at the water. Why wouldn't they just
do it
finish
again.
finish the ceremony there on
I
that
think
where that
they've been too
culvert was?
busy. They haven't had time to do the
They w-
ceremony again.
They weren't busy because we see him like training on the beach.
Well, I know this. I think they're just trying to. I don't know.
Like maybe it's just everyone was doing it just because they wanted the real living waters to be baptized in. Like
I think it was more so that he wasn't, and also to honor his dad.
maybe I don't know. I think it was just more. Everyone wanted to get rebaptized with the living waters of Mandalore.
I think we would have saw more people then. We only saw him.
Well, they don't
I
have
think
time for
I think it's
that.
because he didn't say it,
I'm
and
saying
they just never got around to
I
it.
just think that the makers of the show didn't want to add another 5 minutes.
They could have.
They
This
could have. This
episode
was
was
only
only
42 minutes or something.
with a 5-minute waste of credits that we didn't even get.
So
Who directed this one?
our boy Rick, Fami Yo
so
or whatever.
Did
So
Dave Filoni not direct any for the season then?
I don't remember. I think he did one.
I thought he was supposed to do this one. Or maybe he did last week's.
No, last week was Rick also because Rick did both of them.
I don't think he did one then. Unless he did episode 6. No, because
No,
that was what's her name?
that was Bryce
Dallas Howard.
So let's see.
I don't think he did
Dave did not do any directing,
one.
but he co-wrote chapter 20, The Foundling, and last week he co-wrote. So he co-wrote 2 episodes this season. So
I don't remember what the Foundling one was.
it's the Dragon one. Dragon one with the flashback of Order 66.
Oh, that makes sense that he wrote that.
Dude, it's raining like crazy right now.
Oh yeah, I literally think I thought Stephanie was running upstairs.
It's like rain's a Camino.
Yeah, straight up. Like Will. That's probably why Will went to sleep. He could hear the rain in our background and got all relaxed.
Yep. But anyway, so Ragnar gets baptized with the water, and it's just pouring of water on the head. It's not like a full submersion.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly because they know the stairs are broke, so they can't go all the way in. Oh, you hear that? Thunder?
No.
Oh.
Your mic's too good. We don't hear it.
So they just poured the water. But Din and Grogu walk in. And they go to the steps with the armor, and he's like, Grogu's my apprentice now. I wanted him to be my apprentice. Like, but she's like, he's too young to speak, so he can't speak to Creed. And he's like, well, what if his parents say it's okay?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she's like, well, they're not here and they're too far away and they might not even be alive. And he's like, well, if I adopt him as my kid, and then he could become my apprentice. And it was really funny because if you notice, the armorer, she says this, pauses. You're like, did he just find a loophole? This is the way. Like she kind of is just kind of.
It was a long pause.
It was like not a long pause, but it was enough to notice that.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you got me, and she's like, maybe because she's a little more lenient on the rules now, she can be like, yeah, that's fine. He's adopted. He's your kid. Sure, counts. So she was almost like she was like relieved that like she's wanted Grogu to take.
I think she's won in this, and they even like panned during that part 2 to Bo-Katan, and I think it's like she also wanted this. She's been calling Grogu like
Your son,
and him your dad like constantly throughout this whole season. So I think it's like everyone wanted this. Everyone already kind of assumed.
Right.
Like this wasn't really anything new.
Yep. So she says, "Oh, since he's your apprentice now, his name is Din Grogu, not Grogu Jaren." Which, is, I wish we had explanation of that,
Yeah, I
because
was.
I think it has to do with it being an adoption rather than being like a blood child, like a biological child,
I don't know.
where I'm sure there's an actual explanation, probably within the creed that explains it, but I'm assuming it's just because it's an
I
adoption.
feel like
So,
Grogu Jaren sounds better than Din Grogu. Sounds so dumb. When they said, I'm like, this is lame.
well, it might also be that because it's an apprentice, it has to identify with the master
First,
first.
that's
Like if
possible.
saying that, like, I am Din's
I,
apprentice,
I like you said,
Din
like there's
Grogu.
definitely a reason. I just think it doesn't roll off the top of your tongue well. Like it
That
just
is true.
doesn't sound good.
Right.
Granted, at first Grogu sounded lame too to like everyone, and
Right.
now we're kind of used to it. So I mean that's fair.
So I
But
think
for a
it's
while I hated Grogu too. I was like, what kind of freaking like alien name is this? Like, I mean, yeah, sure.
so. I think it's just identifying with the master at first, so people know
Yeah.
that he's an apprentice of Din. I think that's just what it is, and then so when he becomes like become a full-fledged Mandalorian after apprentice, or do you become a journeyman like other apprenticeships, like
I don't know.
apprentice, journeyman, and then the master or whatever? But I'm assuming if he continues on, he'll end up being Grogu Jaren or something. Who knows? So then, anyway, after this, we go to
Well, no. She tells them that he has to leave the planet.
you gotta go on your adventures or whatever. What is it?
You have to train him the way you
Your
the walk
master
that
training, but it was go on your. It wasn't adventures. What was the term?
journey.
Journey.
I don't remember.
Maybe it was journey. I don't know, but you have to go train as master and apprentice now, which we don't exactly know what that means. Maybe it's just more
I think it's more like
like
what
like an internship where you just
yeah,
do the
like
work,
this is
but
what this is his job, and this is how he provides for himself and provides for the Mandalorian people, and because like oh, that one was loud. I heard that one.
oh,
That
you
one
hear
was
that?
that one was loud. Woo, it gave me chills a little bit. I was like, what button you got now? The storm button. Storm's coming at me. I had that button. I deleted it. So I'm wondering if that's because remember in season 1 where they're in hiding and only like Din was the one that was like able to go out a certain time.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the bounty hunter stuff that he did, he actually helped pay for. Like he gave a lot of his money to them too. Like I don't think it was all selfish reasons. And so
Maybe.
I'm wondering if like that's like his job for the people. And so because Grogu is his apprentice, that's the kind of job that he's gonna have to learn how to do is be a bounty hunter. Like that's the
Maybe
only thing he can
because
train him on, really.
because we'll get to it in a minute, but that's what he's going to continue doing. He's
Yeah.
going to do bounty hunting, but as a more like
Under
not
the
as
table.
not under the table, but not as frequent. Like he's not going to take any job like before, because literally, first episode he's like, "I'll take every job you have, just give it to me." But now he's like, "Now I got to be more careful." Like one, because he has to train the kid, but he doesn't want to put the kid
At that risk all the
in
time.
dangerous situations. So
even though that's all that kid's known as like the most dangerous situations in all the galaxy, but
right, he just
whatever.
fought the guy.
He just like,
a
you know
dark
what?
trooper
We've
suit.
done enough. Let's like find little bounty hunters here and there.
Get some Mithrals again.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after this, it goes to the Great Forge of Mandalore, where all the Mandalorians are there. I feel like there's a lot more there than there was Force. So they probably recruited some more, and so there's probably 200 Mandalorians, maybe even more, like standing out next to the
There's
big
a lot.
open area of the Great Forge, and the armorer has a torch and hands it to Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan lights it, and big giant forge, and then Axe is like, they say for Mandalore. Is that what he says? And they start reciting for Mandalore,
Mm-hmm.
for Mandalore, and it's really annoying because when you watch that, Sasha is saying next to him, and she doesn't say it on beat. She's late the first time when he says the first time, and everyone repeats it, like she misses it.
Oh gosh, I didn't even notice that.
I noticed it. Now I'm gonna notice that for the rest of my life. But
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, this
Well,
is
now
cool.
now everyone is, because you pointed it out.
Yes, thank you. You're welcome.
Way to go.
But yeah, so Mandalore, they're starting to rebuild now. They rebaptized everybody, and now they're all building in the forges and getting that all back up to par. And I'm guessing the next time when we go to Mandalore next, it's going to be a thriving metropolis again. More and more, they're probably going to get more people back that's scattered out through the galaxy and rebuilding the cities. There's going to be plant life. Oh, I forgot. From the water, Grogu senses something in the water.
Mm-hmm.
I missed this part. And it
Big
goes
part,
down to the
nice.
water, and we see the mythosaur again.
Yep.
Wake up. So,
One eye.
so I think it was definitely they sensed each other. And I wonder if that's because Grogu is supposed to be the new Mandalore. I don't know. Like,
Oh, or maybe it's force sensitive.
well, I don't know if it maybe, but I think it's weird that they connected to each other. Like they sensed each other, and so it's like I wonder, does Grogu have a bigger role in the future of Mandalore than we realize?
Oh, definitely.
Is he going to be the new leader at some point when he's old enough? Like
Probably.
in 500 years when he's old enough to
Or in the Rey series, he'll be.
ride in a mythosaur for fun?
Or yeah, like Rey will go to Mandalore to get some supplies or something, and he's there. Or maybe he helps train Rey. Or maybe Rey tries to crew him once again.
But yes, we saw.
We're definitely seeing him in that movie, though. Probably.
Yeah.
There's too much money involved with his merchandise to not see him.
Yeah, because an older Grogu is just another skew of things that you can make for merch. So.
Yep.
And all the people that are watching Mandalorian now, in a few years, are gonna be wanting the next nostalgic thing to have, because you got kids now, and then say the movie comes out in 5 years, which is probably before then, but those kids are like, oh, I wanted this. I remember back in the day, a couple years ago.
True.
But yeah, so that's that. All the Mandalore stuff. And so then Din and Grogu go to the pilot bar.
Wait, also with that, we know that Bo-Katan wasn't just imagining it. Like, it wasn't just a dream.
Or maybe Grogu's imagining it too. Maybe they're just drinking the same water. I don't know.
They're drinking the same water? The same juice?
The same juice. So
yeah,
so it is real. It was not fake.
Real. Yeah.
But yes, so the new era of Mandalore is coming to be, it seems like, based on that prophecy, which we mentioned earlier. So that's cool. Like, then that's why I think that this story of the Mandalorians is now kind of concluded for the storytelling aspect of the Mandoverse, because the prophecy is being fulfilled, the planet is being restored, and like the thing is, because it's the new era, they don't need the Darksaber anymore. So like that's why
that makes sense.
The Darksaber being destroyed, like it makes sense because this new era has come. The old ways are past. Now it makes me sad because I love the Darksaber,
Yeah.
and
Well, and it's sad in the aspects too, because like, I mean, Bo-Katan's still the leader because she was the one that to light it. Like she's still in charge. The armor, her job is to work the forge and like make sure the rules are being done well. Now it's I understand. Now I was thinking because they all had their helmets on during. Well, I guess what's his name didn't, but like Botan had her helmet on again. Is she leaving it on now forever?
I don't know.
Did
I
she
think
have it on when she lit the forge though? I don't remember.
I can't remember, but I think
I know she did
she
during
walks both
baptism.
ways. That's what she's been labeled. She walks both ways. So I think she's gonna be wearing it more than she would have been before she met.
She's allowed to go to church services,
Right.
but not all of them are.
Right. So
Gotcha.
there's that. So the new time for Mandalore has come. The Darksaber is no longer needed, which is sad because I still wanted to see Din
I know
with the
your
Darksaber
whole.
riding a Mythosaur. I guess that's not happening anymore.
Unless they
but
make it, but we'll see.
anyway, pilot bar. Din and Grogu get to the pilot bar where Carson Teva is. Dave Filoni sitting there with his
Yep.
cowboy hat.
Very obvious this time. It wasn't like a little thing. It was like one.
Right
I was
there.
really sad that we didn't see Zeb again. Not gonna lie.
At least,
When
well,
we
one,
pulled up
I
there,
thought we were going to see
Hera.
Zeb, Hera,
Oh, that would
Chopper.
have been cool.
Even if they're just sitting at the table in this back, like that's all I needed. Just a little tease for the Ahsoka show coming up.
Yeah, that would have been so cool. Cause like
But
Zeb, when we pulled up there, I'm like, oh, we're gonna see Zeb again. I was super excited. I'm like, this Dave Filoni in a cowboy hat, like
that's just him playing
you get
himself.
that
Like,
all the time. What the
yeah.
heck? This is nothing new. But
So,
and other directors were with him too. But
right. So, Din goes up, talks to Carson, and Carson's like, "Hey, thanks for your work. Like, took a lot of weight off our shoulders by getting rid of Moff Gideon." And Din is like, you would have got him eventually." Okay, whatever.
no, he wouldn't. No.
Grogu, he's eating. He jumps on the counter and he's eating not tater tots, like the little like crown ones, the little circle ones. That's what they remind me of.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking about? The little circle,
yeah, the ones
flat
that a
circle
lot of
tater
people
tot.
don't like.
So he was eating those out of the bowl on the counter, and so Din is like,
he offers Den a drink, he declines, and then
so Din's like, "I have a proposal for you. Like, you guys don't have the resources to take care of the Outer Rim and track down all the Imperial remnants and blah, blah, blah. Like, just hire me to do it, like, on a case-by-case basis." He's like, "Oh, you want to work for the New Republic? No, it's all under the table. Like, you don't even have to tell them about it. Like, let's keep it all between you and me." And Carson's like, "I'll think about it." Din's like, "Well, you just did." So when we see Din again, he's going to be doing bounty hunting for the New Republic, but under the table, which would be cool because he's going to be. So that means he's going to be interacting with Imperial remnants, and Thrawn is trying to bring back the Empire. And so that's how the lines are going to cross again between Din and Ahsoka. Now, I don't think we're gonna see him in the Ahsoka series. I just don't. Like, I think the Ahsoka series is gonna be a standalone thing where it's not gonna have all the cameos that we think, other than the Rebels cameos.
I hope you're right.
Oh,
I think you're wrong, but
speaking of, okay, this is a little tangent, not a little whatever, but Daniel Contreras posted in Discord a theory that he has.
Oh,
that Balin guy, the old guy, from the Ahsoka trailer, the saber, he thinks that is Obi-Wan's brother, that was hinted at in the Kenobi series.
Oh, that would have been sick. I'm okay with that. That would be so cool. Such a cool arc.
If he's just a little brother, he would be just a little bit younger than Alec Guinness in the original trilogy.
Wow.
So this old guy, it could work out mathematically.
That should be our question. It has
No.
nothing to do with.
I thought that was a really good
That's
theory.
a cool theory.
Because, you know, Palpatine in the Clone Wars and in Rebels was all about tracking Force-sensitive babies and stuff. So the Jedi got Obi-Wan, and the Sith got Obi-Wan's brother.
Oh, that would
and
have
maybe,
sick.
But we don't know. It could just because the girl has a Jedi braid on it, so maybe it's just a Jedi somehow from the past, like we thought. Go check out our trailer breakdown if you want to know.
It's 2.5 hours long.
2.5 hours long. But Andrew's there.
Yes, but Andrew's on it, so you guys do want to catch it if you guys haven't.
But yes, that'd be so
Definitely
cool if that Balin is.
That would have been sick, dude.
Balin Kenobi.
I'm so mad at it, dude. If I would have called that would have been.
Dude, he put pictures of Balin next to Alec Guinness from the original trilogy. You know, I guess good work. So
that would be sick. I'm down for that.
But we'll find out in a few months when Ahsoka comes out in August. But yes, so they have this agreement to maybe do some bounty hunting, and that's how they're probably going to tie in Din to the Thrawn stuff eventually. That being said, Din goes to Navarro.
Oh,
what I
missed
miss?
the part.
Oh, the IG head.
Yes, it's
Grogu
very important.
Sees the IG head on the trophy rack of trooper helmets, and he's like, just give me that helmet for my first payment. I need it for parts. Deal. They go back to Navarro. Din is talking with Magistrate Karga. Hi, Magistrate Karga. Sorry. And they're like, oh, here's a deed to some land with like a little cabin on it for you and Grogu to live out on when you're between missions and bounty hunting and stuff, blah, blah, blah. For you, nice little place for you to have your nice little family, blah, blah, blah. And Din's like, well, I got a gift for you. Oh, really? And you see IG-11 walking out, all spiffy, all put together.
Painted.
Hey, townspeople, I'm your new marshal. Like, did we say that earlier? Like, oh, maybe he could be the marshal at all? Like,
I think so. I think we did call that
in that first. Was it the first episode or second, whatever episode it was when he's?
No, I think it was the first one.
But yeah, it was the first episode, and so like, I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure we called that. Either way,
but it makes sense.
I'm okay with it.
That's cool.
I liked it.
So, IG-11 is now the Marshal of Navarro to help fight off.
IG-12 is no longer.
Right. So
they got double merch out of us for this.
Oh, do you think they're gonna make both versions?
Oh, definitely. They're gonna make a figure, Black Saber's figure, with Grogu's body inside of it, and then a couple months later they'll come out with IG-11 with a new paint job. Perfect. Oh, heck yeah! They haven't even released a proper IG-11.
Really?
No, the only one they've ever released for Black Series is the Art Series IG-11, and he's like silver or like bronze. I have it. He's hanging up on my wall. So like today I did an unboxing, and those videos will go up later on in a week. I think I don't want to take away from what we produced today. But I opened my IG-88 and I put it by Grogu as my IG-11 until they released one.
Fun.
And then I also opened up my Luke. That is the Luke from the Thrawn series, the original Thrawn series, and it comes with like that. I forget what's the creature that Thrawn had on his neck.
Oh no,
I forget the alien thing that like helps you so you don't get.
So it stops the Force.
Yeah, it stops it so you don't get.
Oh.
Whatever. It comes with it, so I put that on my Thrawn figure in my Rebel case, so it looks kind of cool. And then I have that Luke, and he's all black, and I put him next to Bo-Katan on my Mando shelf. So it worked out. It's pretty cool.
All right. Cool. So after IG-11 is declared the new marshal, it goes to Din and Grogu on a little cabin. It looks more like a swamp cabin, like one of those little down in the bayou type things.
Yeah, it also kind of looks like a typical Star Wars house by itself.
Yeah. So
Like, I'm like, dude, this would be a cool cabin actually if you had that as like a real cabin design. That'd be kind of like new age kind of looking cool. That'd be cool.
yeah. So Din, he sits down on his rocking chair in his front porch, basically, drinking some hot beverage, probably Wesley Andrews coffee and tea. Grogu's playing in the front yard next to the pond, and he's using the Force to lift a frog out of the swamp. And then this is really weird how they zoomed in with the circle.
Yeah.
And that's so a weird.
You know what it reminded me of? Like
old time movies did that all the time. They probably did it in westerns.
Westerns, but I was thinking more of just not Animaniacs, what
Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes, yeah. Like bye for now, and they would always wait through it, you know?
That's all, folks.
Yeah, that's all, folks. Yeah, exactly. That's what it reminded me of. I was like, it's a weird ending. And then that was it. But then we also didn't get it. I think that's still one of my things I hate about this episode.
They could just
give us Thrawn's face.
Thrawn sitting at a desk. Someone comes in and says, Grand Admiral Moff Gideon and his group on Mandalore have been destroyed. And it's just him standing up or something
or just someone talking and we still see the back of his head, but just a little of something.
It's a blue ear. That's all we got, a blue ear.
Anything. And we got nothing at all.
But yeah. So the story's done for The Mandalorian. And they ended on a happy note to kind of end this trilogy of seasons. And now the next step in the Mandoverse is the Ahsoka series with Thrawn. So it's a good way to round it off and start something new, but it's also related and tied together.
Mm-hmm.
So we're excited for that. So there's not really any theories because they ended it so round. It's just, okay.
I think the theories is if they do a Bo-Katan show, it's going to be stuff that they have to deal with on Mandalore.
Yeah.
Conflict, stuff they have to do. And if they end it with and then with Mando, he'll end up trying to probably help Ahsoka with a mission, or they're hunting down the same person maybe, or he's gonna find someone and it's gonna tie into Ahsoka knowing about Thrawn or something. I don't know.
Possibly. See, Ethan in the chat says that we should do some recaps on Rebels leading up to Ahsoka.
We should. Maybe. I really think we should. Maybe just season by. How many seasons is there?
There's 4 seasons. I was thinking of binging it this summer to get it ready.
Yeah, I think maybe we should in our own time and just do 4 episodes, season 1 episode, season 2 episode.
I don't know. We'll see.
I know that we're kind of tired. We need a break from breakdowns, and we have some cool things planning and a lot of fun stuff potentially coming up. But I do agree with you, Ethan, that we gotta talk about Rebels a little bit more in depth before the Ahsoka show.
Yeah, because I've been I want to rewatch Clone Wars. I haven't done that in a long time. But then Rebels is so important to Ahsoka.
I haven't watched Rebels in a long time, bro.
So you're due. I watched Rebels. Last time I watched Rebels was probably, I think,
2 years ago.
2 years ago. I think I did it in spring 2021.
And we were already
working. We were already a year into.
Yeah, I I remember you talking about that too, that you were in the middle of watching it, but I haven't watched it probably since it came out.
Yeah, so that
Or
last
since it
season,
all ended and then I binged it all.
yeah,
I re-binged it all.
spring 2018 was when Rebels was finished. So it's been a while for you if that was the last time you saw it. But
Yeah, I didn't watch it when it ended. I watched season 1 and season 2, and then it ended, and then I rewatched all of it. But I'm definitely gonna rewatch it all this summer for sure.
Yeah.
So maybe we will have like an episode or two or something come out on Rebels and like highlight certain things for you guys, because there is definitely some people that aren't gonna get around to it, and that's our job to educate you guys. So, and it would help us too. It'll probably
Yeah.
help us a lot.
yeah, and I'm gonna start now that Mando is done. I'm gonna probably start reading the Thrawn Imperial trilogy that's canon, and so we might go over that too, because that's gonna be related to what happens in the show too. So stay tuned this summer. We got a lot of stuff planned. So thank you, Ethan,
But
for the
August is coming
suggestion.
up quick.
Yeah, we're 4 months away. We'll be probably starting Ahsoka. So, but anyway, any other thoughts before we go into voicemails, Drew?
No, like I'm not really. I'm excited in the sense of like what they're planning. Like after us explaining it and breaking it down a little bit, it kind of is making me excited to see where Din Djarin's character, like what's next for him. I'm
Right.
just kind of still a little bit disappointed that he's not on Mandalore. Like,
Yeah,
I'd
but
rather him have a cabin on Mandalore than.
But he's doing the Mandalorian stuff by being.
No, yeah, I understand. Like, it makes sense. It does. It's just, you convinced me. I wanted him to be more of a part of rebuilding Mandalore. Like,
Right.
you convinced me with riding the Mythosaur and doing all that fun stuff. Like, here's to say that'll probably still potentially could still happen from season 1, where what's his name was talking about how his people used to do that. So I
Yeah.
think someone's gonna do it, either Bo-Katan or him, or maybe together kissing through their helmets with the sunset
And
at
it's-
the end of the movie.
And the Mythosaur is dragging a bunch of cans on strings, and it says "just
Ooh.
married" on the back.
Dude. It was so funny because like this last week, my niece started watching Shrek for the first time, and she's like 10. And like rewatching that, when you said the can thing, it reminds me of the end of Shrek.
It's a bunch of those Imperial helmets.
Oh, that'd be cool.
All right. That's enough Mando talk. We've been doing this for 8 weeks now, but yeah, that's season 3.
Yeah.
I think it ended on a good note. Did I talking about it make you enjoy the episode a little bit better?
Yeah, it did.
Hopefully Tanner
Listens to this.
better.
It definitely helps. It's not exactly what I wanted.
That's what
but
you needed.
It's fine. It works. It's fine. It's not like mid tier anymore. I don't think it's mid anymore. I was just kind of like you said, in my feels. I wanted what we wanted. And this is why we're not a prediction podcast. We don't do theories for a reason. Because when we do, we get disappointed when they don't work out.
Yep.
So.
All right. Cool. Let's transition over to voicemail time.
It's voicemail time.
All right. Cool. Well, we only have one voicemail tonight.
Oh, wow.
From
Will?
From Will, yeah. You got it. He's always our good and faithful voicemail sender.
Surprised you guys didn't send them all
Yeah,
in.
I thought we were going to get a bunch, but
that was one of the reasons why I'm like, no, let's stick to our normal time tonight, because I thought a bunch of people were just going to send them in.
Right.
But
all right. Well, let's take a listen to what Will has to say.
Hey, Empire Radio. Will here. Random question. What is the favorite part of your job? And, what is not your favorite part of your job?
All right. Cool. Thank you, Will. Drew, what's your favorite part of your job and your least favorite part of your job?
You go first. I have to think.
What are you saying? Because it's easy for me to answer these questions.
No, because you've heard this already.
I would say that my favorite part of my job is that I have a day off in the middle of the week.
Oh.
Because that makes life a lot easier
When you're not working. Your
when I'm
favorite
not
part
working.
is when you're
But
not
that
working.
way I can just set up appointments and do errands and stuff without having to deal with work. So that's really
That's
nice.
true. Doing appointments on weekends is not even possible half the time.
Right. And so now with that, this is not my least favorite part, but it's kind of as a result, I have to work every Saturday. So I don't get 2-day weekends like most people. So
That's
it's kind of like a
true.
trade. My least favorite part of my job is just helping customers. And that's like most of my job. I hate helping customers. Customers are the worst. I know we're all customers somewhere, but it's just like I'd rather just have work to do and just focus on that rather than
You need a warehouse job. That's what
doing
you need.
work and then stopping because I gotta go help a customer and then going back. It just takes things longer to do. So
We're hiring if you want to work with me.
isn't that like way over? Like in
It is freaking far as heck. I drive there every day.
But yeah, Drew, the drive is that your least favorite part? How far you gotta go?
Definitely one of them, considering I have to drive an hour every day.
One way or
One
round
way,
trip?
bro. Well, and it's not because my job is an hour away. My job's only like 25 minutes from me. But it's because I have to drive 30 minutes out of the way to drop off Miles.
Oh, that's right.
And
I forgot
then
about that.
30 minutes back the other way to my job. So I do literally a wrap around the Twin Cities. I do a whole circle around the Twin Cities. And it's super annoying. So yeah, that's not really part of work, but I guess it has to do with work.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely up there for my least favorite part. My favorite part is making cupping and making really cool coffee. Roasting coffee to the specs that it's supposed to be, making sure the coffee tastes what we want it. Like we bought this coffee, this is what we're the flavors and stuff that we want out of it, and then developing a profile and making that happen is my favorite part.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's all the voicemails. Thank you, Will, for that. But yeah. So
Send in voicemails next week on the Mando episode and what you guys think about all of it.
yeah. Or I'm gonna spoil what we're gonna do
Okay.
the next I would say this first week. I'm not gonna tell it 2 weeks out, but we'll say that
Don't do
next
2
week.
weeks out.
But so all of you love our top fives episodes. And so we have 2 weeks of time before Visions comes out when we're going to do 3 weeks of Visions episodes breakdown. So we're going to be doing top fives. And so next week on the 26th, we will be doing 2 top fives in one episode because they'll go pretty quick. But we're going to cover top 5 creatures in Star Wars. And we're also going to do our top 5 meme moments in Star Wars. So there's great scenes in Star Wars that get lots of memes, and we're going to go over our top 5 favorite meme moments and creatures. We haven't done creatures yet. And I've been thinking of that for a while, and then I asked people in the Discord like what top 5s they would want, and I think a couple people mentioned top 5 creatures. So we'll go pretty quick. But yeah, so send in. I'll have that as our poll or our Q&A. Is this what your favorite creatures are and meme moments? But also send in a voicemail is telling us your favorite creature and your favorite meme moment. That'd be fun.
Yeah, and typically we were recording on Tuesday nights, but we're sticking to Wednesdays for a little bit. So
yeah, that's probably the foreseeable future. We'll be doing Wednesdays.
Yes, for sure.
And assuming Ahsoka will be on Wednesdays too when that comes out, which
Most
would be
likely.
ideal.
So there's no point to change it. So with that being said, make sure you guys send in those voicemails before 7 on Wednesdays.
7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Central.
So, yeah. So that's the preview. Then the week after that, we'll be doing another top 5, but we're not going to tell you what that is.
Nope.
And then after that, we'll be doing Visions. 3 weeks of Visions.
Already. Wow. May
So,
4th.
May 4th, and then that's Thursday. So then that next Wednesday is when we'll do the first Visions
Gotta
episodes.
figure out, besides Visions, what I'm going to watch on May 4th.
Yeah. Cool. Well, let's go over some socials and get out of here. So, in the description below, wherever you're listening, there's a links.co/Empire Radio link, links with 2 I's. And that's a landing page for everything: Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, the Discord invite. Join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. There is our fan email if you want to email us about anything. There's the VCU Illustration Project. There is the needlesslynerdy.com link, which is a entertainment network that we're part of. So all kinds of nerdy stuff and other podcasts and articles and stuff there. So go check that out. I think that's everything on there, but that's everything. So get connected to us. Go check out our YouTube. Follow us there. We got videos, new videos. I got reactions on there from today's episode. So go check that out. It's the first one I've done. It was a quick idea I had like 2 days ago, and I'm like, maybe I should try and set up some janky stuff. And hopefully, maybe when Ahsoka comes out,
You're not going to do Visions?
I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah,
It's a
go
lot of
like
work.
our videos over on you. It is a lot of work. That's why I don't do it. Go over to our YouTube and go like the videos that we posted. Show us some love over on YouTube. I know a lot of you listeners aren't over there yet, so it'd be cool if you guys can jump over there, show us some love, comment, all that fun stuff on our YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate it. There's more stuff than just podcasts over there. There's reactions, watch parties, toy unboxings. There's a lot of stuff over there. Vlogs.
I need to do some more Coruscant cat. I haven't done that in like.
I was gonna say that. I
was
was watching our reels and I saw your challenge one. I was like, dude, you haven't done.
Yeah.
You need to make something, and then I'll come over and try it, and that could be part of the video.
I did that collab with Cinemakery on Instagram, Sydney, like about a year ago, a little over a year ago. So.
Oh wow, yeah, it was.
I haven't done anything else.
It was during.
It was in the spring, so
it was
like March and into early April, I think. So it's been a while since I've done some fun Star Wars themed cooking / baking. So I need to come up with some ideas. So if you have an idea of a Star Wars themed thing, send that.
Something with frogs in it.
Some frog legs, fried frog legs.
Ooh, dude, so good. Have you ever had any?
No.
So good.
All right.
Tastes like chicken.
But yeah, so send in your voicemails. There's the link for the voicemails also in that landing page. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
do it.
Anything else, Drew?
Nope.
All right. Cool. Well, you have been listening to another Mandalorian-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.